My sister-in-law culled 3 children in her care over 3 years and targeted my daughter next for inheritance money. But when I tried to expose her, she had me committed to a psych ward and turned everyone against me. So I escaped and got her in the most nuclear way possible. My sister-in-law culled 3 children in 3 years, and my daughter was next in line. Megan had been our go-to babysitter since she married my brother. I trusted her because she worked at a daycare with 5 stars on Yelp. But 3 years ago, when my nephew Tyler was in her care, he fell down the stairs at her house. Megan was the one to find the body and dial for 911, but by the time they came, it was already too late. At first, I agreed that it was just an honest mistake, until Megan scheduled the funeral service less than 24 hours later, before anyone could even process what happened. And even weirder, Tyler had been terrified of stairs since he was 2, and always scooted down on his bottom. But when I mentioned this to Megan, her face contorted like she had bitten into a lemon. What are you implying? That I pushed an effing 3-year-old down the stairs? I laughed it off and mumbled something about kids being unpredictable, but deep down, an awful gut feeling filled my chest. 2 weeks later, Megan showed up with a new Louis Vuitton bag and designer shoes, said she got them at an estate sale. 10 months later, my cousin's daughter Emma died at Megan's house too. This time it was anaphylactic shock from peanut exposure. As soon as my cousin Janet broke the news, my insides turned to lead, because I knew damn well Emma was allergic to peanuts. Heck, we all did. Janet constantly complained in the family group chat about how Emma couldn't eat peanut butter sandwiches, so now the benefit of the doubt made even less sense. But when I went to visit Megan to see how she was doing, she could barely get out of bed, and her Instagram was riddled with photos of Emma, all captioned with broken heart emojis. When Megan was back to work, I tried to subtly ask her why she wasn't aware of the allergy. In response, she muttered something about how she must have gotten into something when she wasn't looking. She couldn't even look me in the eye when she said it. And that same month, she and my brother moved into a renovated Victorian house. Well, her family's income was around the same as mine, so it didn't make any sense. But I didn't want to gossip while the entire family was grieving, so I stayed quiet. Until Halloween last year, when my other nephew Mikey was getting ready for trick-or-treating at Megan's house. Because, surprise, surprise, he drowned in Megan's pool. Apparently, he had torn the pool cover off when she wasn't looking and jumped in. 3 dead children, all while in Megan's care. That was the moment I broke the silence and called my mom. When we finally got onto the topic of the 3 deaths, I striked. Don't you think it's weird that they were all in Megan's care? Mildred, these were accidents, she interrupted. Megan is devastated. How dare you even suggest otherwise? I sighed and hung up. I tried my aunt next, then my dad. They all gave the same response. At Sunday dinner, when I barely touched my food, my brother pulled me aside. The family's worried about you. Maybe you should talk to someone about these conspiracy theories. Even my husband thought grief was making me paranoid. So that evening, I met up with my friend Jane, and together we realized something. Every death happened when my brother was conveniently out of town for work, and Megan always insisted on watching the kids solo. She was always the first to organize the funerals and have everything arranged like clockwork. But I didn't want to bring this up to her myself, so instead I made my friend do it. We were all getting coffee together when the topic of the 3 deaths came up. So did you really organize all 3 funerals? Jane asked innocently. Megan nodded, keeping her face neutral. That's a lot of planning in such a short amount of time. It must have taken you a lot of work, Jane remarked. I was watching her like a hawk, and for a second her cheeks flushed with red and her eyes narrowed. Yep, she exclaimed before going to the bathroom. When she returned, she immediately changed the topic. 2 weeks later, Megan and my brother took a month-long vacation to Europe. They both quit their jobs to focus on family. When Megan offered to pay for a couple's getaway so me and my husband could grieve in silence, I almost said yes. Until I realized that she wanted to watch our daughter Lily for the weekend too. My stomach dropped thinking about what happened to the other 3 kids, but she kept insisting, saying we needed a break. I ended up accepting, but only on the condition that she lets me keep baby monitors all around her house. The night before we left, Megan kept texting about all the fun activities planned. She seemed so excited that I felt guilty for ever questioning her. As I handed Lily into Megan's arms, my entire body was trembling, and as me and my husband drove to the airport, something amazing happened. I forgot to drop off Lily's special blanket. When I used the spare key to get into her house, she didn't hear the door open. I was about to walk in the living room when I heard her on the phone. After this one, my kids will inherit everything from Grandma's trust. 4 accidents are harder to explain than 3, but once Lily's gone, there are no other heirs. I froze completely, my hand still on the doorknob. My heart hammered so hard I was sure she'd hear it from the living room. I pressed myself against the wall, phone already in my hand, hitting record. No, the brownies are already cooling in the kitchen, Megan continued, her voice casual like she was discussing a recipe. I crushed up enough cashews to make sure. She's allergic just like Emma was to peanuts. My legs nearly gave out. I gripped the wall to stay upright, bile rising in my throat. Through the archway, I could see Megan pacing, her back to me. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. The Benadryl is right there on the counter if anyone asks. I'll say I tried to save her. She laughed, a sound that made my skin crawl. Just like with Mikey, the phone shook in my hand as I kept recording. Every instinct screamed at me to burst in there to confront her, but I needed evidence. Real evidence that no one could dismiss as paranoia. Listen, I have to go. Mildred just left, but Lily's in the playroom. I'll call you when it's done. She ended the call and started humming the same lullaby she'd sung at Tyler's funeral, at Emma's funeral, at Mikey's funeral. I backed toward the door as quietly as possible, texting David with trembling fingers. Call 911, Lily in danger, come back now. But as I reached for the doorknob, I heard Lily's laughter from upstairs. My baby was here, in this house with a killer. I couldn't leave her. I crept toward the playroom, staying close to the walls, empty. My pulse raced as I heard footsteps above. Lily was upstairs, but to get to her, I'd have to pass through the living room where Megan had been. Taking a deep breath, I started up the stairs, each creak making me wince. I was halfway up when a sweet voice called from below. Mildred, I thought you left? Did you forget something? I turned to find Megan at the bottom of the stairs, blocking my only exit. Her smile was warm, concerned even, but her eyes were cold. My phone buzzed repeatedly in my pocket. David calling back. Megan's gaze flicked to the sound, her smile tightening. I forgot Lily's inhaler, I managed, my voice surprisingly steady. Oh, don't worry about that. I have one here. Come on down, I'll show you. She gestured toward the kitchen, where I knew those poisoned brownies were waiting. Lily, sweetie, mommy's here. The sound of little feet running overhead made my chest tighten. Lily appeared at the top of the stairs, paint smeared on her cheeks, beaming. Mommy, I'm painting. That's wonderful, baby, I said, not taking my eyes off Megan. Come here, we need to go. But Aunt Megan promised special treats, Lily protested. That's right, Megan said, her hand moving to the banister, subtly blocking more of the stairway. Fresh brownies, just for our special girl. One won't hurt before you go. I started down the stairs, trying to keep my movements casual while my mind raced. Lily bounded down behind me, and I caught her hand as soon as she was within reach. Actually, we have a doctor's appointment, I said, pulling Lily toward the door. I completely forgot. Megan stepped directly in front of the door, her expression sympathetic. Oh, Mildred, you look so stressed. Why don't you sit down for a minute? The brownies are still warm. My phone was going crazy now. David's texts flooding in. At security, can't leave airport, what's happening? Another buzz, this time Megan's phone. She glanced at it, and her face went pale for just a second before she recovered. I caught a glimpse of the message. Mom, where are you? Dad's freaking out about Europe receipts. We really need to go, I said firmly, trying to step around her. She didn't move, but I made them especially for Lily, her favorite, chocolate with nuts. Her hand reached out to touch Lily's head, and I pulled my daughter behind me. I said no. The mask finally slipped. Her eyes narrowed, and for a moment, I saw the real Megan. I found them, you know, she said quietly. The baby monitors, all of them. Were you hoping to catch me doing something wrong? That's really hurtful after all I've done for this family. My blood ran cold. She knew. She'd known I was listening. Her phone rang. She answered without breaking eye contact with me. Hi, Tom. What investigator? The insurance investigator is there? Now? Her face went white as she gripped my arm, her nails digging in. Tell him I'll call him back. Family emergency. She hung up, and tears suddenly filled her eyes. You can't leave with Lily. I'm her legal guardian if anything happens to you. It's all in the documents you signed for the trip insurance. What documents? My voice came out as a whisper. The ones David signed last month for your trip, making me and Tom temporary guardians. Her tears looked so real, so convincing. Just in case something happened while you were gone. Tom's car pulled into the driveway. He got out with a man in a suit, the insurance investigator. Megan's grip on my arm tightened. Why don't we go play while the adults talk? She said to Lily, reaching for her hand. I pulled Lily closer. Numbered Tom and the investigator walked in, and the man's eyes went straight to me. Mrs. Mildred, I need to speak with you about some insurance policies. What policies? He pulled out a folder. The ones you purchased. For Lily, Tyler, Emma, and Mikey. The room spun. I never purchased any policies. Your signature is on all of them, he said, showing me the documents. Megan had worked in insurance processing before. She knew how to forge without raising flags. And luckily for her, the signatures looked exactly like mine, perfectly forged. My phone buzzed. A text from David. Megan just texted me. Says you're having an episode. What's going on? I looked at Megan, who was typing on her phone with one hand while holding Lily's wrist with the other. Within seconds, my phone exploded with messages. The family group chat. Megan, pray for Mildred. She's having paranoid delusions again and trying to take Lily. Tom and I are keeping everyone safe. Mom. Oh no, not again. We're on our way. Aunt Sarah. I knew something was wrong at dinner. Poor thing. Tom cleared his throat. Actually, there's something else. Megan, remember those papers you had me sign last month for the Europe trip? What papers? Megan's voice was sharp. The ones giving you power of attorney over Lily. You said it was just in case for the trip. He looked confused. But the lawyer called yesterday. Said the guardianship papers were filed. When? I demanded. Tom pulled out his phone, checking emails. The date is the day before Mikey died. The room went silent. Even the investigator looked uncomfortable. I grabbed my phone to call 911, but Megan spoke first, her voice calm and clear. I already called them. Told them you broke in and are threatening us. They're sending someone to help you. You called the police on me? This is my daughter, who you're trying to kidnap in your current state, she said sadly. David asked me to keep her safe until you get help. Sirens in the distance, getting closer. I looked at the investigator desperately. Check her laptop. It's right there. Check the search history. Megan moved toward it, but Tom got there first. The screen was still open. His face went pale as he read. Accidental ingestion children. Anaphylaxis response time. Custody after parent death. He looked up at Megan. These searches are from this morning, 4 a.m. The doorbell rang. Police. Megan opened it, tears streaming. Thank God you're here. She's trying to take my niece. She's not well. 2 officers entered. One of them recognized Megan immediately. Mrs. Megan? From the grief counseling group. I'm so sorry you're dealing with this. She nodded, dabbing at her eyes. It's been so hard since the children. And now my sister-in-law is having delusions. The officer turned to me, his expression sympathetic but firm. Ma'am, we're here to help. Why don't you come with us? She's trying to call my daughter. I pulled Lily behind me. Check the brownies in the kitchen. They're poisoned. Megan gasped. Officers, she's been saying things like this for months. Here, I have documentation. She pulled out a folder. Printed emails, text messages, all taken out of context, edited to make me look unstable. The timestamps were wrong, but would they notice? Mommy? Lily's voice was small, scared. Why is everyone upset? Jane arrived then, bursting through the door. I'm so glad you called me, Megan. I've been so worried about Mildred. My heart sank. Jane was in on it too. Tell them about the coffee shop, Jane said to the officers. How she talked about the children's deaths obsessively. I was frightened. You were asking the questions, I protested, but I could see how it looked. The concerned family, the documented history, the hysterical woman claiming poisoned brownies. David finally called the police directly, but the same officer answered. Megan took the phone. David, she's safe. We're getting her help. I'm so sorry this is happening. We'll take care of Lily until you get back. Mommy's just confused, sweetheart, Megan said loudly enough for everyone to hear. Sometimes grown-ups get sick in their thoughts. Like cousin Tyler? Lily asked, and the room froze. What about Tyler, baby? I asked quickly. Aunt Megan said he got confused and forgot how to use stairs safely. The investigator stepped forward. I think everyone needs to calm down. There are serious questions here, which we'll be happy to answer, Megan interrupted smoothly. After Mildred gets the help she needs. The officers moved toward me. Ma'am, we'd like you to come with us, voluntarily, for an evaluation. I knew how this looked. If I refused, they'd take me anyway. If I went, I'd be leaving Lily with a killer. Can I at least say goodbye to my daughter? They nodded. I knelt down, pulling Lily into a hug, my lips close to her ear. Don't eat anything, I whispered. Remember our special rule? No treats without mommy. She nodded against my shoulder. I need a picture, I said, pulling out my phone. Please. I snapped a photo of Lily, making sure to catch Megan in the background. Evidence, timeline, proof she was here. Then I let them lead me away. My daughter's confused face the last thing I saw before the door closed. In the police car, I pulled up the recording on my phone. Megan's confession, clear as day. But when I tried to play it, the audio was garbled, corrupted, useless. My phone buzzed. A text from Megan, with a photo of Lily playing happily. She's safe with family who loves her. Get the help you need. At the station, Jane was already in the waiting room. She came to sit beside me and I pulled away. How much did she pay you? Jane's face crumbled. My student loans, $60,000. I'm so sorry, but she said you were really sick, that this would help you get treatment. She's going to call my daughter. No, Jane shook her head. She loves those kids. She told me this was all in your head, that you needed help processing the grief. Then why did she pay you $60,000 to lie? Jane went quiet. The psychiatric evaluator arrived with a thick file. My history, according to Megan. Every concern I'd raised about the deaths twisted into escalating paranoia. Every question reframed as an accusation. All documented by my loving sister-in-law who was so worried about me. David burst in then, out of breath. Where's Lily? With Megan, I said, and watched his face change. Why didn't you tell me you were having these thoughts again? He sat down heavily. We agreed you'd be honest after last time. What last time? My voice was hollow. David, there was no last time. He pulled out his phone showing me texts from my number. Messages I'd never sent. Talking about dark thoughts. About the children. About needing help. I never sent these. Mildred. His voice was gentle, pitying. That's when I realized how deep this went. How long she'd been planning. Every move calculated. Every reaction anticipated. She's going to call our daughter, I said flatly. And you're going to let her. The evaluator, Dr. Nitchie, adjusted her glasses and opened the file. Mrs. Mildred, I see here you've been experiencing increasing paranoia about family members since Tyler's death 3 years ago. I watched her flip through pages of fabricated documentation, each entry meticulously dated, showing a progression from mild concern to full-blown delusion. Megan had been building this case for years. That's not true. According to these texts, you told your husband you believed Megan was out to get the children as early as 2 years ago. She showed me screenshots, my phone number, but words I'd never typed. David squeezed my hand. We can get through this together. Just be honest with the doctor. I yanked my hand away. Outside the evaluation room, I could see Jane pacing, her phone pressed to her ear, probably updating Megan on every word. I need to make a call, I said. After we finish here, Dr. Nitchie replied gently. Now, can you tell me about these accusations you've been making? Through the window, I saw Tom arrive with more papers. He looked haggard, confused. Whatever Megan had told him had him completely turned around. The brownies, I said desperately. Test the brownies at her house. They're full of cashews. My daughter is allergic. Dr. Nitchie made a note. And you believe your sister-in-law would intentionally harm your child? I heard her on the phone. She said, the recording that's corrupted? She'd already been briefed. Of course she had. Mrs. Mildred, sometimes when we're under stress, we can misinterpret things we hear. My phone buzzed. Another photo from Megan. Lily eating crackers, not brownies. Safe for now. The caption read, making sure she only eats safe snacks. Give my love to Dr. Nitchie. She knew exactly where I was, who I was with. She'd orchestrated every detail. I need to go home, I said, standing up. My daughter needs me. I'm afraid I can't recommend that right now. Dr. Nitchie's voice remained maddeningly calm. Based on what I'm seeing here, I believe a 72-hour hold might be beneficial. No, the word tore from my throat. You can't do this. She's going to hurt Lily. 2 orderlies appeared at the door. They'd been waiting. Everyone had been waiting. David stood up, his face stricken. Maybe it's for the best, just for a few days, until you're feeling better. I'm not sick. But even as I said it, I could hear how I sounded. Desperate, unhinged, exactly how Megan wanted me to appear. We can do this voluntarily, doctor, Nitchie said, or we can petition the court. Your choice. I thought of Lily, alone with Megan for 3 days, but fighting would only make things worse. I had to be smart, had to play their game. Fine, I said, forcing myself to sit back down. But I want to see the documentation, all of it. As Dr. Nitchie spread the papers across the desk, I began to see the full scope of Megan's plan. Emails to family members expressing concern about my mental state, appointments with therapists I'd never seen, even a prescription for antipsychotics I'd never taken, somehow filled at our local pharmacy. This prescription, I pointed to it. Check with the pharmacy. They'll have video. I've never picked this up. Denial is common, Dr. Nitchie said gently. David, has she been taking her medication? David looked confused. I thought she was. Megan said she saw her with the pills. Everything led back to Megan. Every lie supported by another lie. A web so intricate that pulling one thread would only entangle me further. I'll go voluntarily, I said finally, but I want Jane to watch Lily, not Megan. I'm afraid that's not possible, a new voice said from the doorway. A woman in a suit entered, briefcase in hand. I'm Ms. Gabriella Chen from Child Protective Services. We've received some concerning reports. My blood turned to ice. Reports from who? We've had multiple calls about erratic behavior, unfounded accusations against family members, and potential harm to your child. She pulled out a tablet, showing me the call logs. Your sister-in-law has been very helpful in providing documentation. Of course she has. I laughed, but it sounded hollow even to me. Don't you see what's happening here? She's setting me up. Ms. Chen's expression remained neutral. We have to investigate all reports. Given the circumstances, we believe Lily should remain with family members while you receive treatment. Which family members? Though I already knew the answer. Mr. and Mrs. and Tom and Megan have graciously agreed to provide temporary care. The room spun. Everything was falling into place exactly as Megan had planned. But then I remembered something. The insurance investigator, I said suddenly. He saw the search history on her computer. Tom saw it too. Ask them. Ms. Chen made a note. We'll certainly look into all aspects of this situation. In the meantime, let's focus on getting you the help you need. They were all so sympathetic, so caring, so completely under Megan's influence. Jane appeared in the doorway, her face streaked with tears. Mildred, I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were this sick. Megan showed me the emails, the texts. I thought I was helping. Jane, please. I grabbed her hands. She paid you $60,000. Why would she pay you if I was really sick? Jane's eyes darted away. She said it was to help with my loans, so I could focus on helping you without financial stress. Even now, she was protecting Megan, or protecting herself. Where's the investigator? I asked desperately. The insurance investigator who was at the house? Tom stepped forward. He left, said he needed to review some documents. But Mildred, he agreed the signatures looked authentic. Because she forged them. Mildred. David's voice was firm now. You need to stop. You're making things worse. I looked around the room at their concerned faces. My husband, my friend, the professionals who thought they were helping. All of them convinced I was having a breakdown. Fine, I said quietly. I'll go. But I want to talk to a lawyer first. Of course, Dr. Nitchie agreed. We can arrange that once you're settled. They led me to a small room to pack a bag under supervision. As I folded clothes with shaking hands, my phone rang. Megan. Put her on speaker, Dr. Nitchie instructed. Hi, Mildred. Megan's voice was warm, concerned. I just want you to know we're taking wonderful care of Lily. She's napping now. Had such a big day playing. Megan, I kept my voice steady. I know what you're doing. I know you're confused right now, she continued as if I hadn't spoken. But we're all here for you. Family supports each other. Like you supported Tyler, Emma, Mikey, Mikey? There was a pause. When she spoke again, her voice had a slight edge. Those were tragic accidents, Mildred. I know grief can make us look for someone to blame, but the daycare, I interrupted. Your daycare was shut down 3 years ago. What happened there, Megan? Silence. Then, I don't know what you're talking about. I've worked at Sunshine Academy for 5 years. That's not true. Check the records, I said to Dr. Nishi. Her daycare was shut down after a child nearly died. These delusions are quite elaborate, Dr. McNichie murmured, making notes. Megan sighed on the phone. I'm going to let you go now. Focus on getting better. Lily needs her mommy healthy. The line went dead. As they processed my admission, I overheard Tom in the hallway, arguing with someone on the phone. No, I don't care what the lawyer says. I signed those papers under false pretenses. What do you mean it's too late? He saw me watching and quickly walked away. The psychiatric ward was exactly what you'd expect. Sterile walls, locked doors, and the constant feeling of being watched. They took my phone, my belongings, everything that connected me to the outside world. Visiting hours are from 2 to 4, the nurse explained. Your husband said he'd be by tomorrow. That night, I lay in the narrow bed, staring at the ceiling. Somewhere out there, my daughter was sleeping in a killer's house, and everyone thought I was the dangerous one. The next morning brought group therapy and medication I pretended to take. I had to play along, had to convince them I was getting better. It was the only way back to Lily. During art therapy, another patient, an older woman named Gabri, sat beside me. First time? She asked quietly. I nodded. Word of advice, she whispered, pretending to focus on her painting. The faster you admit you're sick, the faster you get out. Fight them, and you'll be here for months. But I'm not sick. She gave me a sad smile. Neither was I. But my son needed my house for his new family. Amazing what a few doctored documents can do. My blood ran cold. How long have you been here? 6 months. I've stopped fighting. Easier that way. That afternoon, David came during visiting hours. He looked exhausted, conflicted. Lily's okay, he said immediately. I checked on her this morning. Did you see her? Actually see her? Megan sent photos. She's playing, eating, seems happy. Photos can be old, David. You need to physically see her. He rubbed his face. I tried. Megan said Lily was napping and she didn't want to wake her, but she promised I could see her tomorrow. She's isolating her, don't you see that? Mildred, he pulled out his phone showing me more texts. Look at these messages you sent me. Look at the dates. I studied them carefully. The language was almost right, but not quite. Little phrases I'd never use, concerns I'd never expressed. Check the metadata, I said urgently. These are fake. Someone with tech knowledge could stop. His voice was sharp. Just stop. The doctor says this is part of your condition. Refusing to accept reality. The reality is that our daughter is in danger. From who? Megan? The woman who's been nothing but supportive? Who's taking time off work to care for Lily while you're here? She quit her job weeks ago. Both of them did. For their Europe trip, remember? David frowned. No, she's still working. She told me she's using her vacation days. Another lie. But pointing it out would only make me look worse. Please. I grabbed his hands. Just test the brownies. Have them analyzed. If I'm wrong, I'll accept everything. I'll take the medication, do the therapy, whatever they want. He wavered. I could see it in his eyes. Some part of him still believed me. Okay, he said finally. I'll check. But when he came back the next day, his face told me everything. The brownies were gone, he said quietly. Megan said she threw them out after you left. Said she didn't want them to spoil. Of course she did. But I did find something odd. He pulled out his phone showing me a bank statement. Large deposits into Tom and Megan's account, starting 3 years ago. Right after Tyler died. My heart raced. David, those are insurance payouts. Check the dates against the deaths. He was already scrolling. There's one here from 11 months ago, Emma, and another from last November, Mikey. His face had gone pale. But that doesn't mean these could be from anywhere. Inheritance, work bonuses, you know they're not. He stood abruptly. I need to think. I need to. He paused at the door. Don't tell anyone about this. Not yet. That night I couldn't sleep. David believed me. Or at least he was starting to. But would it be enough? And would it be in time? The next morning, Dr. Nishi called me in for a session. Your husband called. He's concerned about some new delusions you're experiencing regarding bank statements. My heart sank. He'd told them, or someone had made him tell. He said you're creating elaborate financial conspiracies now. This is a concerning escalation. I'm not creating anything. Those deposits, Mrs. Mildred, I've spoken with your sister-in-law. She explained that those deposits were from a family trust. Her grandmother left money for the children's education. The timing is unfortunate, but hardly sinister. Every avenue I tried, Megan had already blocked. She'd thought of everything. I'd like to increase your medication, Dr. Nishi continued, and I'm recommending we extend your stay. 2 weeks minimum. 2 weeks. Lily would be dead by then. That afternoon, no one came during visiting hours. Not David, not Jane, no one. The nurse said my visiting privileges had been temporarily suspended due to my agitation. I was completely cut off. That night, Gabri slipped me a phone during dinner. 10 minutes, she whispered. That's all you get. I didn't ask where she'd gotten it. I just dialed David's number with shaking fingers. Hello? But it wasn't David. It was Megan. Where's my husband? Oh, Mildred. David's had a little accident. Nothing serious, but he's at the hospital. Seems he lost control of his car. Brake failure. Can you imagine? My blood turned to ice. What did you do? I'm taking care of everything. Don't you worry. Lily's here with me, safe and sound. Though she has been asking for her mommy. Poor thing doesn't understand why you abandoned her. I didn't abandon her. The courts might see it differently. Mental instability, psychiatric holds, a history of delusions. David and I have been talking, and we both agree Lily needs stability right now. David would never. David's sedated, dear. But don't worry. I'm sure he'll agree with whatever's best for Lily when he wakes up. If he wakes up fully. Head injuries can be so unpredictable. The phone slipped from my numb fingers. Gabri grabbed it, quickly deleting the call history before slipping it away. Breathe, she instructed. Guards are watching, but I couldn't breathe. David was hurt, maybe dying. Lily was alone with a murderer, and I was trapped in here, labeled as crazy, while Megan dismantled my life piece by piece. The next day brought news that confirmed my worst fears. Tom visited, his face grave. David's in intensive care, he said. The doctors, they're not sure if he'll make it. Megan's been amazing, staying with him around the clock. She's even arranged for me to have temporary guardianship of Lily if he couldn't finish. Tom, I grabbed his hands across the table. Listen to me. Check your bank records. Check the insurance policies. Megan's been. Stop. He pulled away. Just stop. My wife is at the hospital with your husband, caring for your daughter, and you're still spreading these lies? The investigator saw the search history. You saw it too. Accidental ingestion. Custody after parent death. Megan explained that. She was researching for a parent at the daycare who was going through a custody battle. She showed me the emails. More fabricated evidence. Always one step ahead. Your daycare was shut down. I tried one more time. 3 years ago. A child nearly died. Tom's face darkened. That's enough. Megan warned me you'd escalate the lies. eyes. She said you'd say anything to hurt her because you're jealous of our happiness. Tom, please, I'm filing a restraining order, he said, standing. You're not to contact Megan or come near Lily when you get out of here. It's for everyone's safety. After he left, I sat in the visiting room, numb. Every move I made tightened the noose Megan had placed around my neck. That evening, Dr. Nitchie had more bad news. I've been in contact with the court. Given your husband's condition and your current status, emergency custody has been granted to your brother and sister-in-law. The word came out as a whisper. You can't do this. It's temporary, she assured me. Once you're better, once David recovers, everything can be reassessed. But I knew better. Megan didn't do temporary. She did permanent, fatal. I want a lawyer, I said. Of course, I'll have the social worker arrange. No, I want my own lawyer, not someone you choose. Dr. Nitchie made a note, always making notes. That can be arranged, though it may take some time. The holiday weekend is coming up. Holiday weekend. I'd lost track of time in here. How many days had passed? How many days did Lily have left? That night, I made a decision. Playing along wasn't working. Being calm wasn't working. Maybe it was time to be exactly what they expected. The next morning, I refused medication. I demanded to see Lily. I screamed about Megan being a killer until they sedated me. When I woke up, I was in restraints, but Gabriel was there, mopping the floor. Stupid move, she muttered. Now you've given them reason to keep you longer. I need to get out. Only one way out of here fast, she said quietly, and it's not pretty. I looked at her, waiting. Attempted sewer slide. They ship you to the medical ward. Security's lighter there. Easier to slip away during a shift change, but timing's everything. And if they catch you, I'll never get out. She nodded. Your choice. But that little girl of yours, how much time does she have? Not enough. Never enough. That night I made my attempt. Nothing fatal, just enough to get transferred. Pills I'd been hiding, taken all at once, but not enough to do real damage. The medical ward was chaos. Understaffed, overworked. During the shift change, when Gabriel created a distraction in the psychiatric wing that pulled guards away, I slipped out. I had no phone, no money, no car, but I had desperation. And sometimes that's enough. I hitchhiked to the hospital where David was. I needed to see him, to know he was alive. But when I reached his room, Megan was there. She sat beside his bed, holding his hand, playing the devoted sister-in-law. The machines beeping were the only sign he was still alive. I knew you'd come, she said without looking up. They called about your little escape attempt. Security's on their way. How much did you give him? I asked. What did you use? She smiled then, still looking at David. You know, the interesting thing about brake fluid is how it degrades over time. Accidents happen. No one's fault, really. You cut his brake lines. Prove it. She finally looked at me. Oh wait, you can't. Because you're an escaped mental patient with a history of paranoid delusions. Why? My voice broke. Why are you doing this? Her face hardened. My children deserve everything. Every penny of that trust. Not your spoiled brat, not anyone else's. Mine. So you called 3 children for money? I secured my children's future. She stood, smoothing her skirt. And after poor Lily's tragic accident, probably wandering off during the chaos of her parents' issues, there won't be any other heirs to worry about. When? The word came out as a whisper. Oh, didn't I mention? Lily's been feeling sick all day. Poor thing. Must be the stress of mommy abandoning her. I'm taking her to the cabin tomorrow. Fresh air might help. Her smile was cold. Or it might not. Security burst through the door then. As they restrained me, Megan played her part perfectly. The concerned relative, the frightened woman, the victim of my delusions. Please, she said to them, tears streaming. Be gentle. She's sick. She doesn't mean the things she says. As they dragged me away, I heard her whisper to David's unconscious form, don't worry, I'll take care of everything. Back in the psychiatric ward, now in maximum security, I was truly trapped. Restraints, constant observation, heavy sedation. They told me I'd be there indefinitely, a danger to myself and others. Dr. Nitchie visited one last time. Your sister-in-law has been very understanding. She's not pressing charges for the escape. She just wants you to get better. She's going to call my daughter, I said, the words slurred from medication. Tomorrow, at a cabin. Mrs. Mildred, Lily is safe. I spoke with Megan myself. They're staying home this weekend to be near David. Another lie. But who would believe me now? That night, despite the restraints and medication, I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, counting the hours until morning, until Megan took my baby away forever. I'd failed. Failed as a mother, failed as a protector. The system meant to help had become my prison, and Megan had orchestrated every bar. As dawn broke through the barred window, I knew that somewhere out there, Megan was waking up too, getting Lily dressed, packing the car, humming that lullaby as she prepared for one last accident, and I was helpless to stop her. The morning nurse came in with medication. As she adjusted my restraints, she leaned close. Your friend left you something, she whispered, slipping something under my pillow. Said you'd know what to do with it. After she left, I managed to feel under the pillow. A phone, Gabriel's final gift. With fumbling fingers, I managed to dial. Not 911. They'd never believe me. Not David. He couldn't help. But there was one person who might listen. One person Megan hadn't completely turned against me. The insurance investigator. His card had been in my wallet, but I'd memorized the number during those desperate hours of planning. It rang once, twice. Max Sebastian Investigations. This is Mildred, I whispered. The woman from the house with the policies. You saw the search history. You know something's wrong. A pause. I'm listening. She's taking my daughter to a cabin today. She's going to call her. Please, check the policies again. Check when they were purchased. Before each death, there was a policy. I've been investigating, he said slowly. The patterns are concerning, but I need proof. The daycare, I said urgently. Sunshine Academy was shut down 3 years ago. Not 5 years like she claims. A child nearly died. Same pattern. I'll look into it. But the door opened. Dr. Nitchie entered with 2 orderlies. I have to go, I whispered, ending the call and sliding the phone back under the pillow. Who are you talking to? Dr. Nitchie asked, her voice sharp. Myself, I mumbled. The medication makes me hear things. She studied me for a long moment, then nodded to the orderlies. We're moving you to isolation for your own safety. As they wheeled me away, I caught a glimpse of the clock. 9 a.m. Megan would be leaving soon, if she hadn't already. Isolation was worse than restraints. No windows, no clock, no way to track time, just white walls and the sound of my own heartbeat. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time lost meaning in that blank space. Then suddenly, alarms, shouting in the corridor. The door burst open and Gabriel stood there wearing a nurse's uniform. Moved up my escape plan, she said, unlocking my restraints. Your investigator friend called in quite the tip. Police are looking for Megan, but they don't know about the cabin. How did you? I've been here 6 months, remember? I hear everything. She helped me sit up. David woke up, told them about the brake lines. Megan's on the run. My legs were weak from the medication, but adrenaline got me moving. Gabriel led me through corridors I'd never seen, using a stolen keycard. Where are we going? Your investigator's waiting outside. Figured you'd want to be there when when they find her. We burst through an emergency exit into blinding sunlight. A car idled at the curb. Sebastian behind the wheel. Get in, he said. I know where the cabin is. Property records show Megan bought it last year. Cash purchase. As we sped away, I saw police cars converging on the hospital. Too late to stop us now. How long since she left? I asked. 2 hours. But I've got friends in highway patrol. They're setting up roadblocks. She won't take main roads. She's too smart for that. He handed me his phone. Call whoever you need to. We've got 30 miles to cover. I called Tom first. He answered on the first ring. Mildred, the police are here. They're saying things about Megan. About insurance fraud. Where's the cabin, Tom? The one Megan bought last year. I don't know about any cabin. We don't have money for... He stopped. Oh God. The Europe fund. She said she was investing it. Tom, where is it? Pine Ridge. Off Route 47. But Mildred, she wouldn't. She couldn't. I hung up and told Sebastian. He pushed the accelerator harder. There's more, he said as we drove. I found the daycare records. 3 children injured in 2 years. All accidents. All insured. Megan left just before the investigation started. She's been doing this for years. The pattern goes back further. Foster homes she worked at, elderly care facilities, always accidents, always insurance payouts. My phone rang. David's number. Mildred? His voice was weak but clear. I'm sorry. I should have believed you. It's okay. We're going to find her. The police? They found something in her car. Sedatives. The same kind they gave me here. She must have stolen them. Sedatives. For Lily. We turned onto Route 47. Gravel spraying. The woods pressed close on either side. There, Sebastian pointed. Dirt road on the left. We turned, bouncing over ruts. Through the trees, I glimpsed a cabin. Megan's car parked outside. Wait, Sebastian said, but I was already out, running. The front door stood open. Too quiet. No sounds of a child playing. I burst inside. Empty living room, empty kitchen. But on the counter, a glass of juice, half full, and beside it, an empty med bottle. Lily! I screamed, running for the bedrooms. I found them in the back room. Lily on the bed, too still. Megan sitting beside her, stroking her hair, humming that damned lullaby. You're too late, she said calmly. Poor thing was so tired. Needed a nap. I lunged for my daughter, checking for breathing. There, faint, but there. I grabbed my phone, dialing 911. She's alive, I sobbed to the operator. My daughter's been poisoned. We need an ambulance. Megan stood slowly. You just can't let things be, can you? Everything would have been so simple. A grieving family, a generous inheritance, a secure future for my children. You're insane. No, she said. I'm a mother, and mothers do whatever it takes to protect their children's futures. Sirens in the distance. Getting closer. It's over, Megan, she smiled. Is it? A confused child accidentally took mommy's pills. I tried to save her, called for help, but her mentally unstable mother interfered. The police know everything. The insurance policies, the daycare, all of it. Her smile faltered. You're lying. David woke up, told them about the brake lines. They found the sedatives in your car. For the first time, real fear flashed in her eyes. My children need me. You should have thought of that before you murdered 3 kids. The sirens were right outside now. Paramedics burst in, immediately working on Lily. Police followed. As they arrested Megan, she looked at me with pure hatred. This isn't over. I'll get out. And when I do, you'll be in prison, I said, for the rest of your life. They carried Lily out on a stretcher. I rode with her, holding her small hand, praying to whoever would listen. At the hospital, they pumped her stomach, gave her activated charcoal, and waited. David arrived in a wheelchair, still weak but determined. We sat together, watching our daughter fight. Tom came too, hollow-eyed with shock. I didn't know, he kept saying. How could I not know? Jane showed up crying. I'm so sorry. When the police told me what she'd done, I'll testify. Whatever you need. Even my family came. My mother, my father, Aunt Sarah, all of them apologizing, asking how they'd been so blind. But I didn't care about apologies. I only cared about the little girl in the hospital bed, fighting her way back to us. It took 18 hours of machines and medicines and prayers. But finally, Lily opened her eyes. Mommy? Her voice was tiny, confused. My tummy hurts. I sobbed, holding her carefully. I know, baby, but you're okay now. You're safe. Aunt Megan said the juice would help me sleep. She was wrong, sweetheart, but she's gone now. She can't hurt you anymore. Over the next days, as Lily recovered, the full scope of Megan's crimes came to light. 17 insurance policies over 15 years. 6 confirmed deaths, possibly more. A trail of devastation hidden behind tears and funeral flowers. She'd targeted the vulnerable, children, elderly, disabled, always making herself indispensable to the families first, always positioning herself as the grieving caretaker after. The daycare families came forward, the foster families, even a few from the elderly care facilities, all with similar stories of accidents and insurance payouts. But it was the journal that sealed her fate. Tom had found it hidden in their attic. Every death meticulously planned and documented. Her justifications for each murder, her plans for future ones, including detailed notes about Lily, how she'd groomed her, how she'd planned to make it look like an accident, how the inheritance would secure her own children's futures. The trial was a media circus, the Black Widow babysitter, they called her. But I kept Lily away from all of it. We'd moved by then, started fresh in a new town where no one knew our story.